how you found out Ms. Middlebrooks was pregnant.
She had told me. I didn't really believe her at first.
Boy, just because I let you with her, she's
So,
mad.
I don't have nothing to do with that.
Yes,
If
you
you
do.
was sleep with somebody else,
Yes,
man,
you
then
do.
you got low self-esteem.
Ladies, you guys want to hear the case?
With at the time had texted me. He said, Trey's cheating on you, which we call him Trey, but his name is John. Me, I was hurt.
when did it become real?
I pulled up to her house one day and I saw that she had a little bump, so I knew it was real.
Oh,
You don't show at a month or two like that soon.
Let's get some order. Let's get some order.
And so I went to be by myself at the pool area where I was at the time. A guy walked up to me and he's like, well, you look like you need somebody to talk to. Do you want to go to my camper and talk? So.
Buckle up, here we go! The court bells are ringing, and we're off to a fiery start with the case of Portis vs. Middlebrooks. Mr. Portis, alongside his mom, has dragged everyone to court for a DNA test, swearing up and down that he's not the daddy of Ms. Middlebrooks' little one, Ava. They lay out the drama, gearing up everyone for a roller coaster of emotions and paternity puzzles. Strap in, because the sparks are about to fly even brighter.
Mr. Portis, you and your mother have petitioned the court for a DNA test because you are certain you are not the father of the defendant's daughter, Ava. You say your life has been ruined and need today's paternity result to set the record straight.
You won't believe this next bit. Dishing out the deets with some serious frustration, Mr. Portis spills the beans on shelling out child support bucks for a kiddo he's not even sure is his. The air gets thick as Ms. Middlebrooks jumps in, throwing shade about missed court dates and stirring the pot even more. Their bickering reaches new heights, setting the stage for some juicy relationship secrets coming right up.
This started about 2 years ago. I started paying child support $75 for this baby, and I never knew if she was mine or not. We never took a DNA test. We tried to, but it didn't go through.
Don't you have to get a DNA before you can be put on child support?
We went
You
together.
didn't show up to court twice.
And that's because you had a court date.
And he missed. He
And you
missed
missed
the court date.
So you were named
And
the
they
father by
established
default.
paternity. Yes.
Yep.
Grab some popcorn as the tea is being spilled. Dive deep into the murky waters of their whirlwind romance. From chit-chats to dating at warp speed, all the way to baby alarms ringing just a few ticks later. Mr. Portis throws a curveball with talks of another dude in the picture, which throws a big fat question mark on the whole situation. The next clip is gonna drop more bombshells, so don't wander
We
off.
started talking first and then eventually started dating. It happened fast.
At what point did you find out you were pregnant?
A few months later.
But when she got pregnant, we stopped talking. So like, after the fact that she got pregnant, she had hit me up and was like, hey, I'm pregnant. Be prepared
so wait,
for child support
We were
and
definitely
all this
together.
other
We were
stuff.
definitely together.
No,
I
we
called you after I got the text.
No, we weren't, because I found out that she had another boyfriend.
Plot twist incoming. Mr. Portis recounts his tale of disbelief when he found out about the bun in the oven. He wasn't buying it until a baby bump made an appearance during a casual drive by her place. The saga of mistrust and missed signals paints a sitcom-worthy scene of romantic blunders. Keep your eyes peeled. The confrontation coming up next is a total circus.
How you found out Ms. Middlebrooks was pregnant.
She had told me. I didn't really believe her at first, honestly.
Why do you think she'd lie?
I don't know.
When did it become real?
I pulled up to her house one day and I saw that she had a little bump, so I knew it was real.
Oh, so wait.
You don't show at a month or two like that soon.
Were you at the birth, Mr. Portis?
No, I was not, Your Honor.
Nah. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more tangled, enter the ex. Mr. Portis turns the drama dial up to 11. Gossip about the ex-boyfriend also footing the bill for the little one. Double trouble, double confusion, and double the dads? Courtroom turns into a reality show, set with accusations flying and everyone talking over each other. Hold on to your seats, because the DNA reveal up next is a real jaw-dropper.
He was basically saying like, yo, Bryant, Jasmine, does she have you on child support and stuff like that? And I'm like, yeah, she does. She's been having me on child support. He was like, well, that's crazy because I'm taking care of her too. So it's like, he was in her life, like he was there, like holding her and, you know what I'm saying, having a relationship with her.
But you were the one on child
paying
support.
the child support.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, with bated breath. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Portis, you are the father.
Can you believe this? Miss Valdez-Lark kicks off the show by dropping a bombshell. Her wedding plans with Mr. Slater are frozen in time because she needs to find out if he's been playing away games and might have scored a goal, aka fathered his ex's toddler. This is the big issue hanging over today's episode. Stick around because the drama is just heating up.
Fiance Mr. Slater is on hold until you determine today if he cheated on you and fathered his ex's 1-year-old daughter, Harmony. So there's a lot riding on today's results.
No way, did she just say that? Miss Pitts, the ex, comes out swinging with claims that not only is Mr. Slater the daddy, but he's also been trying to rekindle old flames behind his fiance's back. Talk about stirring the pot. This mess gets thicker, and you won't believe what's thrown into the mix next.
Still attempting to have a sexual relationship with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Father, because you have not had sexual contact with Ms. Pitts in years.
You've gotta hear this. Miss Valdez-Lark tells us all about the dramatic phone call from their 12-year-old, which threw her for a loop and tipped her off about the pregnancy saga. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle, revealing just how tangled these webs are. The next part? Oh, it's juicy, so don't go anywhere.
So once I got the phone to speak with Miss Pitts, she said, I'm not calling you to be messy. I need to speak with you on a matter. Pregnant by Robert. So I'm like, that's a lie, Your Honor.
Wow, feel that tension? As the audience claps, Miss Valdez-Lark and Miss Pitts hash it out over the fate of the little one, considering even adoption. The stakes are high and emotions are higher. You'll want to see how this emotional roller coaster takes a dive in the next moment.
At the hospital with me, I was fixed to get my daughter up.
Ms. Pitts, you were considering adoption.
Yes, ma'am.
And you needed the father to sign off, etc. So you were making this call for that reason.
Yes, no, ma'am. She didn't even get him on the phone. She got me. He wasn't there.
Ever seen a guilty-looking silence? That's Mr. Slater for you. All quiet and probably sweating bullets as the ladies dish out the dirt. His silence is louder than words, adding a thick layer of suspense. Keep your eyes peeled, because what happens next is a doozy.
You get this call. Do you believe you're the father?
No.
Why?
Because I haven't had sex with her.
So why would she say, if you haven't had sex with her at all, she's obsessed with you?
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with you.
Did she really go there? Miss Valdez-Lark confronts Mr. Slater head-on about his alleged ongoing side adventures with Miss Pitts, sparking a fiery debate about trust or the total lack of it. It's a pivotal showdown, revealing deep betrayals. Fasten your seatbelts, the turbulence is just starting.
I told her, come and get him and his stuff and get him out. He didn't want to go. I ain't going nowhere with that H. I ain't. You said you'll be a fool to sit there believe anything she said right now. I like trying to help her out and help him out as well. It seems like I'm being the fool made of. But guess what? The day gonna determine it all.
Cue the mystery music. The court digs deeper into the who's the daddy drama, with Miss Pitts and Mr. Slater throwing conflicting stories around like confetti. This crucial part sheds light on the murky tales being told. What's next is absolutely mind-blowing. You won't want to miss it.
Ms. Valdez-Lark, do you know whether or not he's seen the baby in person?
I don't.
You have no idea?
I don't.
You go pick him up?
Yes, ma'am.
From when?
How she pick me up and I be with Sakina?
He's a lie. You can't, I mean, she wanna believe
She a
his
lie,
lies.
y'all. You can't believe
I ain't
that
believing
she
nobody
say.
right now, y'all. I'm
Everybody
believing
lying.
only me.
Oh,
Me,
Lord.
myself, and I is all I have to believe in right now today.
Here it comes, folks.
Mr. Slater, you are her father.
Keep on lying.
At the very start of the episode, the judge kicks things off with the case of Austin versus Wallace. Here's where we dive into a wild ride of paternity disputes and relationship drama that's more tangled than last year's Christmas lights.
Ms. Austin, this is your third time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Ms. Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now, today, you say you need to prove to Mr. Wallace that he is the father of your 9-month-old son, Ronell.
Mr. Wallace is throwing shade and doubt about the paternity of Ms. Austin's kid, Ronald, like he's at a suspicion sale with a coupon. He's hoping he's wrong, but guess what? He might just be daddy-o after all.
So that he can begin to step up and be a father. Mr. Wallace, you claim you have multiple reasons to doubt when it comes to whether or not you are the biological father of this child, and hope today is your last visit to this courtroom.
The courtroom explodes into chaos when Mr. Wallace hurls insults, and Jerome, the no-nonsense bailiff, is having none of it. He tells Wallace to cool his jets, which only adds fuel to the fiery drama.
She is a whore.
Mr. Wallace, you're not gonna address a woman in this courtroom that way. You better pipe yourself. Get out of the courtroom, Mr. Wallace.
I never had anybody to show me how to treat a woman or to be a man, or just need help on.
And that's why you're here. So last time you were standing on the defendant's side with Ronell.
Ms. Roberts and Ms. Austin decide it's time for a dance-off, but with fists. The judge has to call in the referees as Ms. Roberts is sent packing from the courtroom. Emotions are flying higher than a kite on a windy day.
Boy, just because I let you with her, she's
So
mad.
I don't have nothing to do with that.
Yes,
if
you
you
do.
can sleep with somebody else,
Yes,
man,
you
then
do.
you got low
I know
self-esteem.
you're not talking.
Ladies,
I know you were
you guys want to hear the case?
Let's get some order. Let's get some order.
What you do?
Get her, Ronell.
Ms. Austin rolls out what she thinks are slam dunk proofs of paternity, pointing out everything from chins to tiny toes. Mr. Wallace, however, isn't buying what she's selling, sticking to his guns with doubt.
Like we have certain, you can't just base it all off look.
They have the same chin.
The first piece is,
The chin. You look at their feet.
so you say their feet are alike.
Yeah.
But they don't change your mind.
No, ma'am, it's just like you go to a police lineup. They put you in there with other men who look just like you.
And you got picked out of it.
So
He
you can't
was
just
just
go
like
off
you.
looks.
The judge steps up to keep Mr. Wallace from storming out, turning the courtroom into a ghost town. She's all about keeping things civil and trying to keep Wallace from making a sequel to his previous courtroom walkout.
You feel agitated?
Yes.
Tell me.
Because of the bull crap performance she put on. Well, I need to walk
Sit here and finish it. Come on.
Roniel, don't walk out again. You can stand up here. Do not repeat the same mistake as last time. Stand up here. Mr. Wallace.
You sitting up here, you taking her
Come
sack.
on.
You ain't even let me get a word in.
Stand up.
Get this, folks! The courtroom drama of Whittier Viva Reed kicks off. Ms. Whittier is totally sure Mr. Reed is the daddy of her 22-month-old munchkin, Lucas, despite the constant bickering and doubt from Mr. Reed. Ms. Whittier lays it all out, hoping to prove Mr. Reed's paternity and glue her family back together. Stick around, it's just heating up.
Ms. Whittier, you say that you are sure Mr. Reed is the father of your 22-month-old son, Lucas. But the defendant's paternity doubts have led to constant fighting and tension in your relationship. You desperately hope to prove he is the father to save your family.
No way. Mr. Reed drops a bombshell. It's medically impossible for him to be Lucas's dad, even though he's bonded with the tyke from day one. Ms. Whittier dreams about a drama-free life if only Mr. Reed would shake off his doubts. We find out a past blowout where Ms. Whittier, out of sheer frustration, questioned Lucas's paternity, sparking this whole mess. Oh, the drama unfolds even more next.
Mr. Reed, you believe it is medically impossible that you are Lucas's father. You say you bonded with him at birth and have taken care of him and loved him, but every time you look at Lucas, you are haunted by the doubts that you are not biological father.
You'll get a kick out of this. Ms. Whittier tells the tale of how Mr. Reed heroically tried to save her other kiddo, kicking off their whirlwind romance. After a brief time apart, they're inseparable, moving in together and surprised, finding out they're expecting. Don't go anywhere. The story dives deeper from here.
So talk to me about the nature of this relationship.
Tried to save my toddler that he thought was drowning. He didn't realize she could swim.
It was a baby, and she was adorable, cute little stubby thing running around the pool in a little swimmer diaper. Jumps in the pool, so I'm laying in the lawn chair, getting my tan on. I'm laying in the lawn chair, and here she goes. I look up, she jumps in the pool, and I'm right behind her, and I come up looking for her. She's swimming.
You can't make this stuff up. The plot thickens as an ex-girlfriend starts messing with Mr. Reed's head, and a provocative video from another ex adds fuel to the fire. Amidst the pregnancy, Mr. Reed rekindles an old flame, adding layers of complexity to their soap opera life. The suspense is building. More juicy details coming up.
When did the plot twist come?
With his ex-girlfriend. The conflict started between me and her. Well, then she starts whispering in his ear, oh, well, what if it's not yours? There was some arguments. An ex of mine decided to be disgusting, send a very vulgar message to my phone. He found it and thought that maybe there was some continuing relationship there.
And then I moved in with my ex.
Hold on to your popcorn. Things take a serious turn. Ms. Whittier faces life-threatening complications during her pregnancy. Through all the chaos, Mr. Reed is right there in the delivery room, active and supportive, but tangled in a legal snafu about the birth certificate due to Ms. Whittier's unresolved marital status. The drama doesn't stop here. It's about to get even wilder.
It just got worse from there until I got sick. I had a blood clot. Put me in the hospital, put me on blood thinners. They said the blood thinners carry a massive risk, neither one of you making it through. And I called him and I said, you need to come home.
I'd never been so scared in my life.
And I told him that I didn't know if Lucas was gonna make it. I didn't know if I was gonna make it.
And so when you got that call, Mr. Reed.
This is a real nail-biter. Baby Lucas battles severe health issues, throwing Mr. Reed's paternity doubts into overdrive since none of these health scares run in his family. Despite a genetics lesson in court, Mr. Reed's doubt clings on, shaken by the kid's conditions, how he doesn't see his family traits in Lucas. But hold your horses. There's a key twist on the horizon.
When Lucas started getting really sick, when he was 2 weeks old, he had his first grand mal seizure. Sometime during that 3-week hospitalization, Joe's like, how does this happen? Nobody in my family has seizures. Nobody in my family, any of the feeding issues or the heart issues. And I tried telling him, sometimes it can be so far back in your family you don't know it's there.
The big reveal. The DNA results are in. And guess what?
It has been determined by this, Mr. Reed, you are the father.
Mr. Fisher is up first, and boy, does he start with a bombshell. He thought he was signing up for fatherhood bliss when he put his name on baby Sophia's birth certificate, but oh, how things have turned. His fiancée, Ms. Doyle, has just tossed a wrench into the works, confessing that he might not be the daddy after all. His world's been flipped upside down, and we're just getting started.
Mr. Fisher, you claim you made the biggest mistake of your life by signing the birth certificate for 2-month-old Sophia. You say your fiance dropped a bomb on you just 1 month ago and admitted you may not be her father.
Now, Ms. Doyle steps into the confession booth. She admits to stepping out on Mr. Fisher and is crossing her fingers that he's still the father. Mr. Fisher talks about his massive love for both his girl and possibly his girl's baby, despite the mega oopsie. Hold on to your popcorn, folks. The drama level is about to skyrocket.
Ms. Doyle, you admit to making the biggest mistake of your life by cheating on Mr. Fisher, but stand in court hoping and praying he is Sophia's father. Mr. Fisher, you say today's results mean everything to you.
I love Brittany. They're my world, but she lied to me. I hope I am Sophia's father. I love her to death. That's my baby.
Here's Mr. Fisher pouring his heart out. Talk about a tearjerker. He's been riding the dad feelings train, which just got derailed big time by doubt and betrayal. The judge nods along, feeling the weight of this emotional train wreck. Next up, let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Can you tell me what you feel?
Sorrow, pain, everything. It all hurts bad.
Because for the first month of this baby's life, you had no doubt. That brand new feeling of being a dad was just ripped from you.
Right down the middle.
Lean in for this backstory. Mr. Fisher's spilling all the tea about how he fell head over heels for Ms. Doyle. From buddies to lovers, these two had a fairy tale going until the plot twist. With this love story set, what's coming next is sure to add some spice.
How did you fall in love with her?
Well, when me and one of her family members met, we became best friends. Like, we was close like this. He took me around her and I just fell for her. Ever since then, I've loved her. She's beautiful. Her eyes, amazing. Her body, she's gorgeous. And she treats me like a man wanted to be treated. All the way up until this happened.
Cue the dramatic music as Ms. Doyle tells us about a text that threw her for a loop, leading her straight into another man's arms. Talk about a plot twist. This impulsive night of revenge boinking could really stir the paternity pot. Just wait, the Who's Your Daddy mystery deepens in a sec.
I was on vacation with one of his family members in Florida, and another one of his family members that he was with at the time had texted me. He said, "Trey's cheating on you," which we call him Trey, but his name is John. Me, I was hurt, and so I went to be by myself at the pool area where I was at the time. A guy walked up to me and he's like, "Well, you look like you need somebody to talk to. Do you want to go to my camper and talk?" So
Mr. Fisher's over the moon finding out he's going to be a dad. Ms. Doyle, not so much. She's got a secret that's eating her up inside. As they navigate this roller coaster, brace yourselves because we're not done with the bumps yet.
The day that I found out she was pregnant, she had threw up like 3 or 4 times because she was feeling sick. We purchased the pregnancy tests, went back to the house. She took them. One had a faint line and then one had both lines. And I was happy. That was the best day of my life.
whenever I took the pregnancy test, I knew that I had cheated on him.
The arrival of baby Sophia was supposed to be the happiest day, but oh boy, there's a cloud hanging over it. Mr. Fisher was all in, hands and heart, during the birth, but the shadow of the affair looms large. Fasten your seatbelts, because the emotional turbulence is about to get wild.
When she was giving birth, I held her hand. You know, I felt like I was the dad, which at the time, I was pretty sure I was. But I held her, I kept telling her, push, push, push. I want to see my baby. And afterwards, right there, I held her. I signed the birth certificate and everything. I thought it was my baby. We stayed there for 3 days.
Here's where the plot thickens. The conception timeline is as messy as a soap opera. With the paternity still up in the air, Mr. Fisher's world is spinning, and so are our heads. The envelope's coming up. Will it say dad or dud?
Mr. Fisher, I can see you can barely look at the calendar. You just don't want to even acknowledge it. But I'm sure you've done the mental math yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
1,000 times.
Every day.
Let me prepare myself either way. Let me just think about, take my next step if I'm not Sophia's biological father.
I haven't really thought about that part yet, honestly.
The big reveal is here, folks. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fisher, you are the father.
Can you believe what just popped off? Ms. Walker spills the tea about why today's DNA results are super important to her. She's really feeling the weight of not knowing if her grandson is actually related, all because her son left behind a heap of doubt before his untimely passing. Buckle up, because this emotional roller coaster is just taking off.
Well, Your Honor, my son was tragically murdered. The day of his passing, my son left something behind with me, and that was his doubt. And I am here today to get the doubt taken care of. Her child, her son, I don't know if that's my grandchild or not. And it hurts. So I would love to embrace that child.
Hold up, did you catch that bombshell? Ms. Walker dives into the story about her son Delante's major side eye towards the paternity of Ms. Royale's kiddo. He spotted some shady texts that threw a wrench in the works right around baby making time. And guess what? The plot thickens even more in the next bit.
You don't think there's any reason to doubt?
No, Your Honor. The reason why I say that, I have been completely loyal to him. There's no other person that can say, this may be my child, this is my child. I am 100% sure that this is Delante's son.
I remember one day, to fuel his doubts, they got in an argument. He seen text messages between her and a guy around the time when she conceived. And so he doubted.
All right, get a load of this mess. Delante flips his lid over some texts he finds, throwing the whole "who's your daddy?" question out there. He's questioning everything, while Ms. Royal is on defense mode, trying to explain it's not what it looks like. Stick around, the tea is about to overflow.
I heard the argument, I didn't think nothing of it, so it got louder than usual. So I go in there, I'm like, what's going on? You know, Mom, she's a H, she's this, she's that. She's about 3 months pregnant at this time. I said, well, why you say that, Delante? Cause she's heard text messages between her and this guy around the time she got pregnant.
You won't believe this twist. Ms. Royal throws back her own curveball, explaining those suspicious texts were from a guy she calls her brother, not a side piece. Delante's got it all wrong, thinking it's a love affair when it's more like family vibes. Oh, and there's more juicy stuff coming right up.
I let him go through the messages. He called me Shorty. I had no problem with him calling me that because that's not nothing to me. I call this boy my brother. He's an older person.
That's not how you portrayed it to me. They were sexually active.
Ooh.
Oh, you felt like he was telling you there's a lot going on that I haven't told you about, but I'm aware of.
That exactly.
Here's where it gets extra spicy. Right after the baby arrives, Delante is all mixed up about whether to ask for a DNA test. He plays it cool in front of the fam to avoid drama, then secretly tells his mom he's not so sure about the baby being his. The next part, it's a doozy.
Did you know that he had gone to his mother and said, I really need a test?
Because I asked him twice. I didn't care about the doubt. He named my child after
So
him.
it's your testimony, the reason why I'm asking him, do you want one? And
you know,
why he didn't sign a birth certificate, Your Honor?
He didn't sign it because he didn't have his ID. When we kept telling him he was being irresponsible. That was not my fault.
And bam, there it is.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Monique Walker and Delante Royal is 99.99%. You are related.
Yes!